As everyone is working their way out of the room, I'll just introduce the next item, which is the Early College Academy update. Let's see if I can find the PowerPoint. Dr. Pilch, whenever you feel you can be heard.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt.
Microphone
and
is
again,
yours.
Thank you to all of our volunteers and our Citizens Academy participants. So I'm pleased tonight to bring you an update from our Early College Academy Principal, Gordon Boschman, and the Associate Dean of Ames Community College, Libby Klingsmith. Mr. Boschman and Ms. Klingsmith will provide you an update on how this first year has gone at Early College Academy, as well as talk about some of the next steps and how we plan to measure our success there. You know, Early College Academy is finishing their first year, and Early College is a school of innovation here in District 6. It's our newest high school. We started the year with 9th and 10th graders, where students integrate both high school and college experiences, with the intent of ensuring that more of our students are graduating college ready from District 6. So this is a significant partnership for us. We would not be able to do the work we're doing there without the partnership that we have with Ames Community College. And I'm especially thankful to the leadership that Mr. Boschman and Ms. Klingsmith have provided there at Early College Academy. So I will turn it over to the two of you.
All right, thank you. Well, good evening, President DeWitt, Superintendent Pilch, and members of the board. I am pleased to bring you this evening an update on Early College Academy. And so this new school, as you've heard, is the first of its kind in the district and in the neighboring areas. Okay, we're very fortunate to have partnered with Ames Community College to bring such an opportunity for our students. We are excited to share some of the great things that have taken place in our first year. And so we will go through some slides to do that with you. I'd like to introduce my counterpart, Libby Klingsmith, is an Associate Dean from Ames Community College.
Great. Okay, so as Gordon mentioned, Early College Academy is the first of its kind in the region. There are other early colleges, certainly in Colorado, but none quite like Early College Academy, and we're really excited about that. And so, as you can see from the slide, students in the Early College Academy have the opportunity to earn up to 2 years of transferable college credit free of tuition to themselves and their families. Students at the Early College Academy are engaged in a rigorous instructional framework which is aligned to college-ready standards and is put together by both representatives from School District 6 and Ames Community College. So it really has been a joint effort to put together the curriculum both through our current 9th and 10th graders as well as our incoming 11th and 12th grade students in the next couple years. Certainly we have a strong partnership with Ames Community College and this is emphasized in the building by having both school district staff and faculty in the building as well as Ames Community College staff and faculty in our building, sharing space and working side by side with each other. We also are highly student-centered and we have lots of student supports in place for students, which we'll talk about throughout the evening to help our students meet that very rigorous instructional framework that is at hand for them. And as a school of innovation with the state of Colorado, we're able to do a lot of very unique things within the building to provide students the support that they do indeed need to be successful in our building.
All right, so we start, our current enrollment right now is 127 students as freshmen and sophomores. Currently enrolled for next year is 212 students. We hope to be probably 215 to 220 students next year. So we are adding to our current enrollment 70 freshmen, 13 new sophomores, and 2 new juniors to our population. In terms of male to female ratio, we have about 60% female, 40% male, which the gentlemen in our building are quite happy about. And in terms of ethnicity, we kind of match the district with about 61% Hispanic for next year and 30% Caucasian. Free and reduced lunch in our building really does match the district at about 69%.
Okay. So I get to talk a little bit about the characteristics of an early college academy student, and you heard Gordon speak to the demographics, which very closely mirror the community in our school district. The characteristics of an early college student are often that they are the first in their families to go to college, perhaps just the second in their families to attend college. The students in the building are quite motivated to prepare for their future, and so we see students who, for reasons related to their family, their own career goals, have intentionally chosen early college academy as a way to make those things happen for themselves. We hear regularly from students that they value being in a small community. This is also philosophically one of the elements at a national level that early colleges really try to put together for students are small learning communities where students can receive high quality instruction and a lot of support. Our students are quite excited to establish school traditions. We have incoming 8th graders who are ready to put together chants by grade level for us. So I think what that speaks to is our students wanting to take on leadership and initiative in their building. Much of what we'll talk about tonight has been very organic in terms of students leading the way in the building. I think what our important pieces about early college academy students are that they recognize the value of this opportunity, but they often require varying levels of support to be successful. So in this district, AVID is, I think, a program that many people are familiar with. I myself have had a career in TRIO student support services programs, working with students who have been first in their families to go to college. And I would say early college students really mirror the kinds of students that participate in AVID or Gear Up. Students who are quite motivated but may not have all of the resources to put together their pathway to college. And so we wanted to share that a little bit now that we've got students in the building, kind of who they look like and who we are serving every day.
All right, so in terms of how we're going to change from this year to next year, we are going to add on the district side of Early College Academy 2 full-time positions, equivalent to 2 full-time positions. It's going to be a half math teacher we're going to add, a half language arts teacher, or FTE, I suppose, and a student life coordinator, which is essentially like a dean and a counselor mixed role, which will provide a lot of emotional and academic support for students.
AIMS next year, as you can see, will be adding several new positions, and that's because we'll be transitioning to having 11th graders in the building. The 11th grade curriculum, as we will show you in a moment, picks up almost all college coursework for students. And so what we have added are the college courses that students will be taking as 11th graders in math, science, English, history, health, and communication. So we'll be adding sections. We won't be adding a lot of full-time faculty, but we'll be adding sections of courses to support students in their 11th grade curriculum.
All right, our current academic program with freshmen and sophomores permits our freshmen to earn up to 8 credit hours as a freshman. So they'll take, your regular English, your math, and your science class, but at the college level for a freshman, they'll take a Spanish class. So it'll either be Spanish 1 or Spanish 2 to count for high school credit, but it also counts for college credit. So Spanish 111 or Spanish 112. And at the college level, those are 5 credit hours for a Spanish class. Their American government class or civics class counts for high school credit, but it also counts for 3 college credits. When they get to be sophomores, again, they continue with their math and English and science classes. Again, they'll take another Spanish course for 5 credit hours. They'll take a health class at the college level for another 3 credits, and then a world geography class for 3 credits, so that they will be able to earn in their sophomore years 11 college credit hours. So by the end of their first 2 years in our building, they'll get up to 19 credit hours.
So we've been working quite hard this year between District 6 and Ames Community College on refining the course curriculum for both 11th grade and 12th grade as we transition those students. You'll notice that students in the 11th grade will be either continuing their high school mathematics at Algebra 2. We also have a group of students who are ready to move on to college algebra and college trigonometry, which will be taught actually by the department chair from Ames for math, and she's quite excited to come over and work with our students, so we're excited to have her. We'll also be offering environmental sciences to students. That will be flanked in the spring semester with a public speaking course for our students. They'll continue to have academic seminar, which we have found to be a part of the students' day that they value and we value in terms of academic support and the opportunity to get quite a bit of work done before they might have to go home into other responsibilities. Students will continue on in Spanish, and so depending on where they were at in their placement, they'll continue on to Spanish 112, which is a 5-credit Spanish course, or they'll move to Spanish 211, which is a 3-credit course, but moves them into the intermediate Spanish language. Students will also have an opportunity in 11th grade to look at a political science elective, and they'll take History 121 and 122, which is the full slate of American history in their 11th grade year. I won't go through 12th grade in the same detail as we're not quite there yet, but you have a sense of where we are headed relative to math, English, continued science, language, and then we'll fill in with some humanities courses in the 12th grade as well.
Right, so our juniors next year will be taking between 24 and 30 credit hours, which is a full-time credit earnings for a first-year or second-year college student. All right. We have spent a significant amount of time developing our school culture at Early College Academy. We're a brand-new high school, but we have been able to establish a lot of fun traditions. And so what we really have emphasized is a culture of engagement that is both student and faculty driven. So we told our students when they walked in the door back in August, I told them there really are 3 types of students in high school. I've worked in high schools for 20 years. First type of student is a student that just really watches what happens in high school. Another group of students are the ones that make things happen in high school. Well, and then you got a small group of students that aren't quite sure what happened when they were in high school. I says, be part of that second group. Make things happen. This is such a great opportunity with a small school to establish traditions that are going to mean something. Okay? And so we told students walking in the door is, if you can find 6 people that have a common interest, we will find an adult in the building to sponsor groups. So to sponsor a student group. So we have established many of those clubs in our building. We were able to select a mascot. We're the Early College Academy Tigers. We've got a great website and a Facebook page. We have our Power Matrix in our building, which is a positive behavior emphasis. We've had 2 different spirit weeks. We've had a Halloween event. We've had a winter formal dance. We don't have a football team, but we have had some mighty dodgeball tournaments after school. Okay. We visited other campuses. A few students went to CSU. They've also gone, all of them, sophomores have walked over to Ames campus from our building. We started a National Honor Society with our sophomores based on their freshman and their first semester of their sophomore year. So we have about 13 students in our National Honor Society. We've had 2 award ceremonies. We had a year-end barbecue already, a field day where we spent 3 hours in the park together, and we developed our first yearbook in our building.
Which I passed back to the audience because the board has seen them, and sometimes the audience doesn't get to participate. So I passed them back this way, and then we can pass them back up forward if you'd like to view them again.
All right. So we've had a lot of fun this year. We've pushed kids pretty hard academically with rigor. We've supported them and adapted our support for them as the year went on, and we've had a lot of fun as well. So in terms of academic goals and measures for Early College Academy, we really have 5 that we've established and are adjusting them and fine-tuning them as we move forward. Certainly as a measure or a goal, we want our students to attend school on a regular basis. So right now we have probably about a 96% or higher attendance rate in our building, and we certainly, kids are going to be in the classroom. There's a better opportunity to learn the content. We really have minimal discipline referrals in our building. We have a common focus where we're all heading in the same direction. Okay, our goal is to have 90% or higher pass rate in our freshman to junior level classes in the next school year. We've done a fair amount of research in terms of early college high schools. And the national average for students that are able to complete in 4 years a high school diploma combined with an Associate of Arts degree is about 30%. It goes up to 60% on a national average if you include a 5th year or 6th year of high school or track kids on. So we have set a pretty aggressive goal that 65% of our students will be able to earn their Associate of Arts degree and high school diploma in our building. In addition to that, the 35% of our students, our goal is that they will get their high school diploma and a minimum of 30 college credit hours. So that's our goal, that all of our students will get their high school diploma and be at least 1 year and ideally 2 years of college credit while they're in our building.
So finally, we would just like to share some next steps related to Early College Academy. You'll notice number one for us is to continue to develop strong programming and foster engagement for success. We've learned so much this year, things that we've been able to implement already and things we're looking forward to implementing and supporting students. We have some needs in the building to continue evaluating and developing our facility needs, from classroom space to added technology. And we will continue in the next couple of years to evaluate the effectiveness of Early College Academy as we work towards the goals and metrics that we've set for ourselves.
So I would invite any board members or any community members that would like to see what Early College Academy is like, is just to contact the school. I'd love to give anyone a tour of the school. I'd like to introduce you to some of our amazing students and staff members. We are really proud of what we're able to develop at Early College Academy. And if I had to describe our school in one word, it really is all about opportunity. Kids are able to get 2 years of college done for absolutely no cost whatsoever, other than a whole lot of effort and hard work. Okay, but it is quite amazing to be able to get 2 years of college done for free while you're in high school. So I want to thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for coming this evening. You've done 2 shifts already, earlier in our work session and now this evening on the late shift. So thank you for staying with us. We have a couple of comments coming up, and certainly want to say how enthused the board has been to see the growth of this program. Ms. Solis?
So I just want to thank you for all your hard work and effort and really listening to the students and letting them kind of create the atmosphere. That's really exciting. It's been interesting to watch this whole process, and the only complaint I would have is that this wasn't around when I was in school. So thank you for your continued work.
You're welcome.
Dr. Richard?
My compliments as well to you and your staff and the students for this inaugural year. It's really exciting to see how far you've come with something that last year at this time didn't even exist, only on paper is where it existed. One of our values are those options and choices for students. And what's really exciting is to see the demographics of the students that you're providing services to. And clearly it is accessible to all of our students in District 6 when we see what a parallel you have to our demographics in general. Thank you also for the metrics. Those measurements of have we succeeded or not are pretty significant and powerful, and a direction that is clear and measurable. You know where you're headed, and that's great to see. So one question for you. Can students still enroll for next year?
Absolutely. We do have
us about
spots
that.
available. An easy way to do that is just to go onto our website. There's an online application and information about our school. So please, if anyone is interested as a freshman or sophomore next school year,
Thank you.
contact us.
Thank you for your work.
You bet.
Mr. Hall?
Well, it's been an amazing year. I remember when I first met Gordon, he had a paintbrush in his hand, and he was about a day and a half from the students showing up at school. And he was painting classrooms. And most of the furniture was still stacked in the corner of each room, but you guys made it happen on time, and the kids got there and took off, and it's a great thing. I'd like for you just to give us an update, because I know at one point in time, there was a substantial amount of students that were using the GET program in order to get there, and that we had a couple hiccups or something, but I think that's all taken care of. Is that all working well for you?
It's working very well.
Is it?
So in terms of transportation, there's no district transportation to our building, partly because we're getting students from all across the district, and even probably a dozen students from outside the district. And so parents will either carpool or drop their students off, but then the Greeley-Evans transportation system has been a phenomenal partner for us. In fact, there's a drop-off right at the edge of our parking lot, and they drop students off every hour. And they realized that the buses were getting very full right at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, with about 40 students that rode the bus. And so they were able to adjust their schedule, and now they drop off students and pick up students every half an hour. So they've really, the city has adjusted their schedule to really meet the needs of our students. So we're very thankful for that.
Well, I would almost venture to say that even with all the planning and all the things that everyone did and all the work that you all did, that the GET system, that partnership, is probably what had the biggest success ratio for your students to get there. Because if they can't get there, you can't teach them, can you? So shout out to the city and thank you, and thanks.
Right, and so we have students that, probably 25 students participated in athletics at the 3 main district high schools. Kids are bringing their football pads or their soccer cleats or their baseball gloves in their bag to our building, storing for the day, and then getting on the GET bus after school and getting to practice on time. Cool. So it does work. It's working very well.
Thank you.
Mr. Lydiak, have you a question or comment? I can never see what you're up to on your laptop there.
No, I just, I appreciate the update, and I love the program and opportunity that this high school offers our students, and it's good to see the enrollment filling in there. So,
good, sir. Thank you. Your students have a laptop when they enroll?
They do. Every student is issued a laptop when they walk into our building. So they
Is
have a
that-
touchscreen laptop, and they use them throughout the day in their classroom to varying degrees depending on the subject area. But every student is issued a laptop. That was part of the agreement between Ames and the district, that we wanted to focus on technology and be up to date with all that.
As you know, we're not, as a district, quite at one-to-one. So this is going to be helpful for us to see how that plays out in a kind of controlled environment. So thanks for keeping your eyes on that prize.
Happy to do so.
Can you tell us a little bit about the transition? When we spoke with some of your Ames instructors, the professors, they had not necessarily worked with an animal like a high school student before. And I don't know if you have a moment or two to share how that transition went for them. There was a gear up for our students to get ready for college, but I think there was a little gearing over for those professors.
Yeah, I'd be happy to sort of talk to that almost a year later and sort of speak on behalf of our faculty. Hopefully I do justice to that. I think what I would share with you is that all of the faculty who we hired into this environment certainly had not had experience with high school students, at least all in a single classroom. Many had taught concurrent enrollment students, but having 2 or 3 high school students in your college class is quite different than teaching a class full of 14 or 15-year-old students. At the end of this year, though, I would say they have found their feet in this, and they are excited to be working with this population. What I hear from faculty that has been so different for them in this environment is the opportunity to build relationships with students that we often don't have in a post-secondary environment because we're turning them over so quickly. Here, our faculty would tell you they know everything about their students. They know what they go home to at night. They know, who's friends this week and who's struggling the next week, and they really appreciate that. From a learning perspective, our college faculty, I feel, have really reached out to students based on those relationships, and again, are able to support them in ways that are quite difficult sometimes in a very true post-secondary environment. So we see college faculty quite regularly grab students from academic seminar to sit and work with them. Our political science faculty member has been quite notorious for having homework assignments due at 5 o'clock on a Friday, but he will sit with students after school in the cafeteria and be available to them while they're completing. And so students have loved that because it's felt like a community. So I think we've seen huge progress from our college faculty, and even as I watch them think about what they will do next year, supporting writing across the curriculum is not something we often talk about in post-secondary education, but we have community college faculty members talking about supporting writing and content, which is really exciting for me as a post-secondary educator. And so we've seen lots of progress there. And we're really excited about the folks that we're bringing on board to add to the team next year, many who have taught in high school, but also in a community college setting, so who really understand the students that they'll be working with.
Awesome.
Well, we did have a chance to interview you a little bit and ask a few questions, but one that just stood out for me for some reason this evening was placement in a Spanish class. Is there a standard placement test for that location of how good I am in Spanish to go to one or the other course?
There is. Now there is.
Yeah.
So that's been one of our learnings as well. We have a number of heritage speakers here in our district and at Early College Academy. And when we first started, we simply divided students into Spanish 111, which was the beginning course, and then maybe Spanish 112 if they had had a little bit of it. But we quickly learned that that probably wouldn't work long term. And so our Spanish faculty have actually devised a means for working with students and their families to understand what their background with the language has been and to what extent. And so all of our incoming students have had a one-on-one conversation with a Spanish faculty member, as well as produced some writing for them to understand where would be the best placement. Because in language, we want students to have a good experience with that. We want it to be fun and exciting for them. And so the right placement is really key to that. We'll be also working to support our heritage speakers in different ways next year. And so our Spanish faculty are really tailoring instruction to students whose primary or home language is Spanish. So we'll be teaching more classes in that actual target language. So we're doing a lot to support where we place students so that we get the appropriate placement and success for all.
That's great. Again, in the front lines, making these things happen.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Other comments? Thanks so much for staying around with us this evening. We look forward to seeing you again soon.